All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network, breaking news. As predicted here on NorCal Sports Network a month ago, that Kyle Tucker would be a Dodger. Even with him talking about the Mets and the Blue Jays, had a sneaky feeling he was going to sign with the Dodgers. If you're Kyle Tucker, why wouldn't you? Details of the deal have not been reported yet, but let's get into it, everybody. Kyle Tucker is an LA Dodger. Look, they're going for it. Hopefully, if anybody's got the details of the deal, we can pull that up. Let me just check Twitter here and check my Jeff Passan source here, see if he announced the actual deal. Also, a three-way deal was made between the Tampa Bay Rays, Cincinnati, and the LA Angels. We'll get to that later. But star outfielder Kyle Tucker and the LA Dodgers are in agreement on a free agent contract. Sources tell ESPN, reported Jeff Passan 12 minutes ago. So this is, excuse me, guys. Got some anesthesia still stuck in my throat. Had hip replacement surgery yesterday. So this will be hopefully a fairly short live. But anyway, this is big news. Now the Dodgers get their outfielder. This was the weakness of the team last year. They had Pages and they had Teoscar Hernandez and Conforto, and then they would throw out Tommy Edmonds out there. I think what this does is it moves Teoscar Hernandez back to left field where he belongs. Kyle Tucker will stay in right field, and you're probably going to have Andy Pages a lot out there in center field. Maybe some Tommy Edmonds at times. Hey, thanks, Dom. Appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is going to be. My guess is it's a short-term deal. Wouldn't be surprised if it's in the neighborhood of 3 or 4 years, a couple $100 million. And, baseball's in trouble. Baseball's in trouble because this just pushes. I mean, the Dodgers already had the National League West wrapped up, right? Now, they're not joking around here. They're trying to be the 49 through 53 Yankees who won 5 World Series in a row. Now, that was done in a day and age when you just won your league and you went straight to the World Series. The Dodgers are having to go through 2 playoff series plus 4 years, 240 with an opt-out after 2, says Sheffield. Thank you. That's pretty doggone good. $60 million a year with an opt-out after 2. Why would you opt out unless you were like MVP, right? $60 million a year. My goodness, the kid, how old is Kyle Tucker? 28, 29 years old? Let's pull him up here. Let's see what Kyle Tucker's age is here. And we'll just pull up his numbers. Kyle Tucker is 28. He turns 29 in 2 days on Saturday. So he's 29. He can hit free agency again after age 33, 29, 30, 31, 32. Oh, as he enters his age 33 season. My goodness, Kyle Tucker at 33 is going to be able to probably sign another 3 or 4 year deal and pick up, couple $100 million. The guy's going to make over 400. He's going to get his 400 million in his 10 years, but he's going to get it in probably 7 years, right? He's getting 240. If these reports are true, that he's getting 240 for 4 years, My goodness, the sport is really screwed up when a team can give a player $60 million a year. That's almost as much as the Miami Marlins entire payroll. You guys want to know what the Marlins payroll is? I'll pull it up right here. The Miami Marlins payroll is $72.8 million. One player almost makes that up. Their year-end 40-man, their CBT tax for next year, $79.3 million. And Kyle Tucker is getting $60 million. You want to talk about a sport that's a mess? I'm sorry. This is good news, though. This could be good news. The Giants fans, hang in there, because this is going to cause a huge. See, the Dodgers are doing this right. I can't blame the Dodgers. They're doing this right because they know that things are going to change December 1st. This is going to possibly cause a complete lockout, especially if the Dodgers win their third World Series championship in a row. And owners will die on the vine because of this abuse of the system. Dodgers have a huge TV contract. They sell out. They've got Japan. Look, if you're a player, you're kind of nuts if you don't want to go play on a team. Players want to win. Players love to have fun, and winning is fun. But this is going to be good news. I think the Giants are doing something right here. And what is right is not spending right now. Build that farm system. Today, the Giants just used up almost their entire international pool of money for the top prospect in Luis Hernandez. And this is the smart thing to do. Is the kid's 17. He's probably going to make it to the big leagues by the time he's 20, 21 at the latest, if all reports are true and he comes through. Now, not all international players do this, but the Giants are going to not be good. Johnny just said it. Yeah, Giants are not going to be good. I've been telling you guys this for a long time. Just get used to it. Giants are not going anywhere in 26, 27. If there's a season, they're not going anywhere. 28, they're not likely to go anywhere. And, if I'm Buster Posey and this team is flailing at the trade deadline, man, I would try to move off of every contract that is bogging this team down. And I'm talking about Chapman, Devers, Adames. Do what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing, because I believe that with this signing today of Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers, and now you watch Steve Cohen bump up the price for Cody Bellinger right now. Watch Steve Cohen go overpay and give Cody Bellinger the 7th year that the Yankees haven't been willing to give him. And Cody Bellinger is either going to be a Met or a Yankee. I can almost guarantee that. He could become a Blue Jay possibly too. Those are the three teams that I would say Cody Bellinger is going to be: a Yankee, a Met, or a Blue Jay. And the sport is becoming, the rich get richer. I think a salary cap may be forced on. You may have a 27 season that is completely shut down. No World Series in 27. They can freeze these players out. Look, these owners are worth billions, right? They're worth billions. So if you get these guys under a cap, look, if there's no 27 season, all the Dodgers got to do to keep Tucker is they could probably just say, all right, we're going to move off of Freddie Freeman. I don't know how much years Freddie has left. I think he's only got a couple left. But, the Giants going out and signing free agents right now, especially ones with qualifying offers. That's why Zach Gallen is not going to be a Giant. Look what the Giants today, they only had 5.4 million, the lowest in all of baseball, yet they got the number one prospect. I can't remember which team had over 8 million in international pool money. Let me look that up. I just saw it. International pool money. All right, let's see. I think pulling it up here. Anyway, regardless, some teams had over 8 million. Milwaukee had over 7.3 million. Giants only had 5.4 million, guys. Here we go. Baseball America. Okay. Take a look. And this is why the Giants cannot keep going out and signing players that are free agents with qualifying offers, because they can't sign free agents, top hitters. All right, what do we got here? We hit a. All right, here's the pool, guys. Let me see if I can get rid of this ad right here. All right, look at the 8 million pool. The Diamondbacks, Orioles, Guardians, Rockies, Royals, Pirates. And then you got another group of team with 7.3 million pool. And then a 6.6 pool. Braves, White Sox, Dodgers were in there, 5.9. And here's the Giants with 5.4. Why? Because they signed Adames and they signed I don't know, that might have been because of the Chapman deal too or something. Okay. Yeah, Dodgers want to 4-peat. Yeah, I think they want to 5-peat. I really do. I think, look, when the Giants won 3 World Series in 5 years and were rubbing it in the Dodger fans' faces and the Dodgers ownership, Dodgers said, hey, we'll beat that. We'll beat that. How about 3 in 3 years? Yep, insane. Look at the NFL. Teams like the Bills, who are a small market team, can compete. But in Major League Baseball, if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, you stand no chance against the Dodgers. Absolutely. The sport is really screwed up. It hurts teams. Like, what's to get excited about if you're a Pirates fan or a Marlins fan or behind me, an Angels, a Washington fan, a Sox fan, Twins, even the Giants. I mean, the Giants have the money. They're not a small market, but they are spending like a small market. Look, I think the Giants and Buster Posey have made a calculated look at this whole situation and said, we're not competing with the Dodgers. We're not going to be able to compete probably with the Mets or the Braves or the Phillies or the Cubs. And, the Giants are probably 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th in the wild card chase right now among the 6 teams. Look, you got 3 division winners. Giants are already eliminated from the National League West. Okay. So they've got a shot at 1 of 3 wild cards. And that makes it very, very hard to make the playoffs. Kitchen Handy says the Posey knows the lockout is incoming, so that means money has to be right. Yeah, look, Giants are flexible. I did a video the other night called a soft or a quiet reset, and I think that's what's happening. Look, Tyler Mahle, 1-year deal, flexible. You could trade him at the deadline if you want to get some prospects if he's having a decent year. Same with Adrian Hauser, 2 years, flexible. Look, don't be surprised if the Giants are not in it if they decide to move off of Logan Webb and get some real prospects for him. This is the Giants. Buster Posey came in, I believe, with a big ego, even though he's pretty humble, and said, I can get this done, and went out and got Chapman, Adames, and Devers. And then what did the Giants do after they got Rafael Devers? They went 40-50, okay? You're not hearing that anywhere. You're not hearing that anywhere but right here, NorCal Sports Network. Who's telling you that the Dodgers or the Giants went 40-50 after they traded for Rafael Devers? They were 41-31 when he played his first game on June 17th, Tuesday night, in those funky clown outfits that the Giants were wearing for Tuesday night. And the Giants proceeded to just go in the tank. And they went the last 90 games with Rafael Devers, 40-50. Now, if that is, so what does that mean? Can the Giants improve 10 more games with Rafael Devers? Instead of going 40-50, can they go 50-40 in a 90-game stretch? I think they possibly could. He should be a little bit better. But, guys, Rafael Devers, if you look at his trade value on Baseball Trade Machine, he's a minus 162, where Shohei Ohtani is a positive 131, meaning, that's in dollars. Rafael Devers why is Rafael Devers, who's 2 years younger, supposedly, than Shohei Ohtani, not even close to the value of a Shohei Ohtani, who's, Ohtani's 31, Devers is 29, and yet Rafael Devers is the least valuable trade asset on the Giants, and Shohei Ohtani is the number one trade asset on the Dodgers. Why is that? Because there's a difference in the way they play the game. Devers is not the superstar that the Giants think they got. Look, he struck out 29.3% of the time with the Giants. I think we'll see if he has a bounce back year. If he doesn't, and if he's still striking out, his career strikeout rate is 21.9%. I'll pull up the stats for you right here on Rafael Devers. I have the Giants' K rates as a team. There they are. You've got Rafael Devers, 21.9% career, but 8%, almost 8% higher as a Giant. Now, if that rate is up over 21.9 and it's hanging around 25, 26 for the 26th season, I'm here to tell you that I think Rafael Devers' age from the Dominican is being, let's just say it may be being played with a little bit, and his bat speed is, he's starting to lose something. We'll see. He's also, still a solid hitter. I mean, he's the Giants' best hitter power-wise, and he drives in 100 runs a year. So you take that, but he's going to have to cut down on the strikeout rate. He's going to have to hit 35 homers, drive in runs, and his average is going to have to be a little higher. It's going to have to get up higher for that. Hey, I don't know if you guys are picking up the noise, maybe not on the mic. If anybody's picking up I got leg pumps on my calves, and they're motorized, and they're squeezing my calves so I don't get any blood clots from my surgery yesterday. But I didn't know if that was picking up in the background. So if it is, I apologize. So, I really think the Giants are going to have to just look at this as say, okay, we're not winning anytime in this decade. We're probably not even competing for a World Series title with the Dodgers having, Tucker, Ohtani, Yamamoto, Snell, Diaz, their closer. They've got, Betts. Freeman will probably be on the way out in a couple years, I would imagine. How old's Freddie right now, guys? Freddie about 35, 36. Let's see. Kyle Tucker, as I said, turns 29 on Saturday. Let me see what Freddie Freeman is 36, turns 37 in September. So 2 more years for Freeman. maybe 3, maybe at 30, 36, 37, maybe at 38. Freddie's still got what it takes. I don't know how many years left Freddie's got on his contract. I will check for you guys right now. Freddie Freeman is making, he's a free agent after the 27 season. Okay, there you go. So that's the plan. They've already replaced Freddie Freeman with Kyle Tucker. I don't think Tucker's opting out of that contract at $60 million. I think that would be almost insane. So the Dodgers just continue to defer. Yes, we got that 4 years, 240, probably some deferral money in there. I mean, Alex Bregman has $70 million deferred on his contract. George Curry says, Devers is a star. Come on, let's not exaggerate it, sir. Devers is a baller with little around him. Giants need at least 2 impact bats. We had no leadoff or 2-hitter. He will be fine. Yeah, I'm saying he's a star. He's not a superstar in the sense that Ohtani is. His contract is nobody wants it. Nobody wants his contract. Look, I'm not suggesting that Devers is 32 or 33 years of age, even though he's listed at 29. But it's possible because they have had that situation in the Dominican. And, let's hope he's the right age. Right now, he's listed as a 29-year-old, doesn't turn 30 until October, so he'll be 29 all year. But he did come up, and he was tearing it up. If you guys recall, Rafael Devers came to the big leagues as a 20-year-old in 2017, and he was good right away. And you don't see that too often. So we'll see. We'll see what he really does. But I don't think – Giants got him for 8 more years. I don't think he's going to be around after the decade changes because I think he'll be on the back end of his career. He'll be 4 years from now. Let's see, 26, 7, 8, 29. After 4 more years, he'll be 33. And George, I'm not – come on, George. Just stop the hate because he's Dominican. I'm just telling you, the Dominican has a history of many guys falsifying their ages. So we'll see. I think he is 29. He does have a young face, but if he continues to strike out at the rate he struck out with as a Giant, then I think you got damaged goods. We'll see. I think he's an excellent hitter, but the Giants are not building around him. They can't have Matt Chapman batting behind Rafael Devers, even Willie Adames. Yep, you're right, Dom. Devers' contract is going to be bad by the end of this decade. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, I've said Devers is good. I'm not saying he's not good. He's the Giants' best hitter, without a doubt. But they're not building around him. They are not building around him. They're not signing anybody. So what makes you think that this team is going to be any different in 26 than it was in 25? They were 81-81, and they had Devers for 90 games. They were 40-50 with Rafael Devers. So let's say he gets a little more acclimated with San Francisco, goes through spring training. He's more settled. He's got his place to live, and he's settled as a Giant, and he has a bounce-back year. Does that make the Giants contenders? No, they're not winning anything. They'll be lucky if they get a third wild card. They could. I'm not saying it's impossible to get a wild card spot. 6 teams out of 15 make it. That's 40%. But you look behind me. You can see the hats. You got the Dodgers. They're in. Padres, we don't know. They're still pretty good. Brewers, Cubs, Reds. Those are 3 possibilities. Phillies, Mets, and the Braves were in 4th place. I think the Braves challenge for the National League East Division this coming year. They're definitely going to be a playoff team if they stay healthy. Yep, Vegas has the Giants at 82. Yeah, right there at the I think last year, weren't they like 83 and a half last year? Is that what the Giants, they were either 82 or 83 and a half last year. If you took the under, no, wait, I take that back. They were 79. They were 79. So yeah, I bet the over and won that because I did think they would be over. Giants had some momentum coming out of spring training last year. We'll see where they go this year. Look, they could surprise. I think the Giants' ceiling for the 26th season is 84, 85 games. I think that's the ceiling. I don't think that's enough to get into the playoffs. I think the floor for the Giants is somewhere in the lower to mid 70s. Okay. And if you have an injury or something like that to a Logan Webb, not going anywhere. George, give it up, George. Come on. You know better than that. You're a smart guy. They're not signing Framber Valdez. They're not signing Framber Valdez. If the Giants were going to sign, they're not in on these guys. They're not in on Bellinger. They're not in. They were never in on Tucker. They were never in on Bregman or Bichette. They're not going to spend the money, George. They went out. They're not going to go give up. They're not going to sign a Framber Valdez and then give up more international pool money. I think the Giants are looking at a whole different approach, and they're going to build back their farm system. Look, I don't know if you guys remember this. If you're longtime Giants fans, you should remember this. The Giants went through a soft rebuild from 2005 to 2009, 5 seasons. Okay. They had losing records in 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then 2009, they were 86 and 76, I believe, by memory. And of course, the rest is history. Sharks won tonight. Good. Go Sharks. Look, the Giants are they're looking at this whole situation and saying, we cannot compete with the big market clubs that are spending money because they don't want to spend the money. I think Greg Johnson spent the money on Devers and saw how it flopped. And he's like, why should I keep throwing good money after bad? We can't even get over 500. They have not had a winning season but once since 2021, since 2017, losing season, 18 losing, 19 losing, 20 losing, 21 big time win, 22 500, 23 losing, 24 losing, 25 500. Okay, they have not got over 500 since 2021. And you want a guy that crosses up your catcher intentionally and tries to cross him up and throw a fastball so he gets hit. Now, this type of a deal I am fine with. If you want to go I've already suggested you don't have to give up all 3 of those guys and I don't think Gilbert gets it done. I think 2 guys get it done. I think a Johnny Level and a Landon Roop would get it done. Landon Roop, the Brewers could have signed for roughly 5 years of control, whereas they've got 1 year of control. Then they get an upcoming shortstop like Johnny Level. But Schmidt could be in a deal like that, but they've got Caleb, I'm forgetting his last name, the Brewers, but came over from the Yankees in a trade last year. last offseason. Durham or Caleb. Anyway, I'm forgetting his last name, but yeah, Mookie did not have a good year last year, but came through in the end. Mark Gravy Grave says Johnson not spending to keep up with the Dodgers. Dodgers have the most money at the poker table. Right. Exactly. Why would you? Hey, there was talk about Joe Lacob maybe buying the San Diego Padres. I saw a video tonight earlier on Brody Brazil did it. Is Joe Lacob interested in buying the Padres and moving them back to Oakland? I don't know why anybody would move out of San Diego. It's a great baseball town right now with a beautiful ballpark and you know, you got the whole city to yourself. No Chargers, no Clippers anymore. So Murph Dog says, why should anybody be surprised by this move? Baseball is broke. Yeah, baseball is broke. Hey, guys, while we have you, I want to tell you about a new sponsor that we have, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app. Let me pull up the code here. All right. Prize Picks, using that promo code NCSN, guys, is a daily fantasy app where you build lineups by choosing whether players will have more or less than a projected stat total. Right now, new users can get $50 in lineups when they play their first $5 lineup, win or lose. Just put in that promo code NCSN and you get up to $50 just by playing $5, guys. Prize Picks is available in 45 states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today. Build your lineup and follow along while watching the games. Or you can go into this video description. We got this one up very quick within minutes, so we'll be adding the Prize Picks link right in the video description. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And we're also sponsored by Chapman Law Group. As always, Chapman Law Group, give them a call for all your legal needs. Chapman Law Group. Give David Chapman and his group a call over at 415-613-9483. Chapman Law Group. They are one of the top law groups in the Bay Area. And if you've got a personal injury situation, don't leave money on the table by settling with an insurance company before giving Chapman Law Group a call. The call is free. The consultation's free. And if you got a personal injury, look, you don't have to put any money out of your pocket. Let Chapman Law Group work for you. All right, guys. Let's see what we got here. Let me pull this back up. We've got a comment from a longtime friend of the show, Cliff Martinez. He says, I applaud the Dodgers. If one team dominates wallets, a cap protects the league. The fans in the smaller market. Simple math. Cap incoming. Agree, Cliff. We were just talking about that in the first 10 minutes of the show. We think a cap is coming. I think this is the nail in the coffin. This is going to be good for the game because this is getting out of hand. But you cannot fault the Dodgers for doing what's within the rules. Look, they know that the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, ends December 1st of this year. So why not get as many guys as you can in under the belt? And there's going to probably be a long lockout after the 26th season, and there may be no baseball in the 27th season. So my phone is blowing up here. Let me see what we got here. Hold on here. I'm getting texts coming in. See, hold on. All right. So we've got over 200 people here watching right now, and make sure you guys do us a favor and hit that like button. If you would like that button, those of you watching on YouTube, just click the like button right now. It helps push this video out to many more people. We really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. and tell your friends about NorCal Sports Network. That's right. We are NorCal Sports Network. And look, I talk about it. There's a lot of shows out there, but no one's got the experience in YouTube space as a longer-term Giants fan. You might have some longer-term baseball guys like Marty Lurie. He's been a baseball guy, and he's one of the all-time greats, right? We all love Marty. But he hasn't been following the Giants like I have been since 1968, guys. You know, how many years is that? That's 40, let's see, 32 plus, this is going to be 26. So 54 years. Let's yeah. So I've been covering the Giants since I was, following them, and started actually covering them at 18 years old in high school in the clubhouse. Had a press pass for a game, but it was a press pass. Anyway, what else we got in here in the chat? Taylor Jenkins says, why are you hating on Tyler or Rafi Devers? Not hating on him. I'm just saying they didn't win with him. They went 40-50 with him, Taylor. So how is he the savior? He's good. He's very good. Very talented. Probably a top 20 hitter in the game, maybe top 15. But he not the difference maker. If he was the difference maker, don't you think the Giants would have been over 500 with him rather than going 40-50? Propa says, thanks for the donation. Posey thought Chapman and Adames and Devers would compete with the Dodgers. I could have told you him that isn't enough. No, you don't have any pitching. The way to beat teams is get elite pitching. The Giants could have went out and got elite pitching this year, but they chose not to. They went with Tyler Mahle and Adrian Hauser, and they're going for flexibility. They're going for they don't want to pay. They don't want to have it cost them in the pocketbook like it did this past year. They were fortunate enough to sign Luis Hernandez with the lowest pool money in international pool money, but they're not going to go after guys with qualifying offers unless, they did that. They did that with Chapman. They did that with Adames. They did that with Snell, and they're still paying Snell. Yes, Senior, you got it right. Devers is a good power bat, but he's not an elite hitter. No, he's truly not an elite hitter. He's got a lifetime batting average of 276. That's very good in today's game. Last year with the Giants, he hit 236. He was 272 with Boston. Look, he took advantage of that green monster, right? The green monster was his friend because he could just pop it out to left field. He's got the power, and it either goes over the wall or off the wall for a double, right? I mean, he had let's see. Looking at his numbers here, he's had as high as 54 doubles in 2019 with Boston as a 22-year-old, where he batted .311. Then he hit 263, 279, 295, 271, 272, 272 with Boston last year, and 236 with the Giants in 90 games. He's always had a solid OPS. Starting in 2019, he had an OPS of 916, then 793, 890, 879, 851, 871, 905 with Boston, and 807 with the Giants. So his numbers dropped significantly with the Giants as far as OPS, but he's still a very, very solid hitter. I don't think he's the, he's good. He's good. And I'm happy the Giants actually have him, but they decided not to do anything else. Okay. So the Giants have decided not to do anything else as far as building around Rafi Devers, Matt Chapman, and Willie Adames. They're pretty much, unless they can pull off a trade, I don't think they'll be able to pull off a trade. I don't think Nico Hoerner is going anywhere with the Cubs. And I think if the Cubs do trade him, I think they're going to be looking for a really solid pitcher, and maybe the Giants at the I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they flip him a Robbie Ray and he's on an expiring contract, and so is Hoerner. It all depends on how Matt Shaw does for the Cubs. If Matt Shaw is producing, it makes Hoerner possibly expendable. But the Cubs got a shot to compete for a championship, so I wouldn't be trading Nico Hoerner for just anybody. And Donovan, I've heard Seattle's in the mix. I think Seattle can offer a better package. They've got better pitching than the Giants, and they can offer one of their frontline starters, a younger guy, to St. Louis. But we'll see what St. Louis wants. I mean, St. Louis is definitely rebuilding, right? They got rid of Arenado. They got rid of Wilson Contreras. They got rid of Sonny Gray. They're moving off of guys. And I don't think the Giants are too far behind personally. I don't think it happens this offseason. And if the Giants are in contention at the All-Star break, they're not going to be trading anybody. But if they have another year where they are floundering near the trade deadline, you think Buster Posey is going to sit back and just do nothing? He was pretty irritated that the Giants blew it last year, and it cost them Duvall and Tyler Rogers. And it's very possible that trade with their bullpen getting kind of blown up, it's possible that it cost the Giants a playoff spot. They were only 2 games back of making the playoffs last year, guys, at 81-81. But I think Posey realized, as you've heard the great Ned Colletti on here, you've got to realize your team. Ned Colletti said here on this show many times, if you cannot get a if you know your team can't compete and you're going to bow out early in the playoffs, what's the use of going all in? Why not get some assets for some of the guys that you can get that are going to be free agents, like Rogers was going to be a free agent. And then they moved off of Duvall just because, and they got some decent players out of that. They got the catcher Rodriguez from the Yankees. They got Parks Harbor, who's pretty good hitter. We'll see where this goes. George says Buster will only make a trade if a good player in a team is in dire straits and want to deal a player. No one wanted Devers' contract. Devers' contract not looking too bad. We took on 8,250. Yeah, that's basically a very solid signing as a free agent. And you're never going to get look, Rafi Devers would not choose the Giants as a free agent. Neither is going to, was Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger, Bo Bichette, Alex Bregman. Nobody worth their weight in gold was going to choose the Giants as a free agent. So the Giants, and Buster did a smart thing. They went out and got Devers. The problem with the Giants is they stopped. They were on a trajectory to keep going if they wanted to compete in this limited 3-year window with Chapman and Adames. Chapman's on the wrong side of his prime. Adames is right in the middle of his prime. He's going to start peaking and going down in a few years. Chapman has still got 2 to 3 productive seasons left in the field. Always great fielder, and he's can have some productivity if he learns to lay off certain pitches. Hopefully the new hitting coach will help with that. But the Giants have a short window to win with these veterans. And the fact that Posey is not adding to this nucleus should tell you something, that it's very possible that this is a quiet reset. They're not going to come out and say we're rebuilding, because that pisses off the fans, at least a lot of them, and it hurts ticket sales. And the Giants are all about bringing people to the gate. The Giants really don't care how they get people in the seats, as long as they're getting 3 million people. They want to draw 3 million people. It looks good. Look, I don't know what the percentage was with the Giants ticket sales last year, but a large majority of those ticket sales were very, very discounted seats. I bought like 5 games for giveaways here at NorCal Sports Network, $7 tickets. Okay. $7 tickets. Year before that, or sometime last year, maybe early in the season, selling tickets for $5.01 in honor of Levi's 501 jeans. What team has to do that? What good team has to do gimmicks to get people in the seats? Come on. I remember growing up as a kid, and I used to go to A's games on Monday night. It was half price night. It's 2 for 1. And tickets weren't that expensive back then in the 70s. But yeah, and those were the World Series champion A's. 72, 3, 4. And they had every Monday night, Charlie Finley, half price night. He could have went all in for Tucker. Tucker did not come into the Giants. Why would he come to the Giants when he can go to the Dodgers? Why would you come to the Giants, play in the cold, play a left-handed batter where it's 415 to right center field, balls go there to die, your stats die, and you could play in a packed house, 4 million fans, fans coming out to see you on the road. You're competing for a World Series championship. You're playing in perfect weather during the summer. Why would Tucker ever even think of choosing the Giants? Don't you think Buster even knows that? Probably didn't even he knew that. Look, Giants fans need to really, I've been trying to tell you guys this for years. Name me a free agent other than Barry Bonds, who was the superstar hitter that wanted to sign with the Giants. Bonds, daddy was Bobby Bonds, was a lifetime Giant. His godfather, Willie Mays, he's from Sarah. He wanted to play for the Giants. He wanted to come home. And Barry's a unicorn. So San Francisco's home. Name me another player. Aaron Judge, he played the Giants like fools, coming to that hotel and winking, and he got exactly what he wanted. He knew what he was doing. Totally used the Giants. Cliff says your team is struggling at the gate when they're giving out Stephen Curry bobbleheads. Surprised they haven't announced a Brock Purdy bobblehead giveaway yet. Yeah, exactly. Look, guys, hey, it's fun. This is spring, right? We're coming up on spring, a month. And, the old saying, in fact, we have Hope Springs Eternal in our chat many nights. But this is the time of year where hope springs eternal, right? Everybody's undefeated and everybody's thinking they can compete. And, the Giants jumped out to a 12-4 record last year, and we all got excited and it felt different. And Aaron Rowan, there we go. Yeah. And please don't anybody bring up Carlos Correa. Look, the guy was lucky he got what he got, and he's a decent player, but he was not worth 13 years and $350 million. That would have been the equivalent. That would have been worse than Xander Bogaerts. Didn't Bogaerts get 12 and 3 something with San Diego? That was right around the same time And I'll tell you what happened on that deal. Giants put out that they had signed, or not signed, but they had agreed to a contract, and they put out news media and all that, and nobody bought any tickets. And the front office was like, Farhan, you got to do something to get out of this deal. We'll fail them in the physical. We'll get our doc to say, find something. And they found whatever the thing was with his foot from his ankle injury or foot injury from the minor leagues, and they backed out of it. And that was the end of that. And that was a wise move. But Giants aren't getting – they can attract free agent pitching, okay? Giants can get pitching. If they wanted to next year, and if there's not a lockout for a long period of time, they could go out and sign a Tariq Skubal. Look, Skubal's going to command a minimum of $40 million a year, right? They could go get a Skubal because they're not going to have Robbie Ray, who makes 25, and they're not going to have Tyler Mahle, who makes 10. That's 35 right there. So they could move off of Hauser if they want. He makes another 11 million. There's your 46 million. You could get rid of Ray, Mahle, and Hauser, and then you could have Webb and Skubal and Roop and some of these other young guys like a Birdsong, a Tidwell, or you can go out and sign another $10, $12 million free agent. So, yeah. That's true. Last time the Dodgers signed a superstar hitter, Farhan panicked and overpaid for Dung Poo B. Curious to see if Buster reacts. He probably won't. I don't think so. I think most people kind of saw this coming. I think the Dodgers were waiting, and wasn't Tucker, was he represented by Boris? I thought he was. Let me just see. Yeah. He represented Bellinger and Tucker. I'm sure there was a deal already in place with the Dodgers that was like, okay, go get your deals. Go use Steve Cohen. When you get your numbers, come back to us and we'll more than beat it. And Tucker probably wanted to be a Dodger all along. Look, guys, none of us Giants fans like the Dodgers. We can't stand them. But look what they have. They have it's an old ballpark, but it's still a beautiful ballpark. They've renovated the clubhouses. It's probably the best clubhouse in all. It's the newest clubhouse. It's probably the best by far, the home clubhouse in any ballpark in the game. They win. They're treated like royalty. They play in a beautiful weather ballpark. The weather's amazing down there at nighttime in Southern California. It's 50+ thousand fans a night. Why wouldn't you just say, hey, whatever you got to do, get my, work the deal and get me to the Dodgers? Dodgers had a need for a right fielder. They did not have a good right fielder. They had Teoscar Hernandez in right. He was awful. He's a better left fielder. And now you got Tucker, who can play right field, and you got Andy Pages. We saw the ground he covered there in the World Series last year with that great catch, knocking over Kike Hernandez. The Dodgers are just, they just pretty much have. I wonder what their odds just changed to. Let me take a peek here. If FanDuel has changed the odds. Let me see here. Let me look here. FanDuel. I was looking at it earlier. FanDuel, they might not even have the baseball odds out yet. No, they don't. Okay. They're not even out. But the Dodgers are going to be the prohibitive favorites. And, this may push the Blue Jays to up their offer to Cody Bellinger, right? They they lost out on Tucker. They were offering him 10 years, $300 million. Maybe Boris gets a deal with Toronto and Bellinger goes to Toronto for 6 years, $200 million. How's that? That's Tucker's contract will age badly. It's only a 4-year deal. It's a 4-year deal, and he's in his prime. He's 29 years old. How does 4 years age badly? Maybe he's not worth $60 million. He's probably only a $40 million player. But look, the Dodgers don't care. They've got loads of money, and they probably deferred a ton of it. I'll bet you when this comes out, don't be shocked, guys, if 4 years, 30, 120, 240. Don't be shocked if half of this thing is deferred. Don't be shocked if it's $30 million a year he gets $30 million. If you can't live off $30 million, then you got a problem. He gets $30 million for 4 years, which is 120. He gets the other 120 deferred over 10 years and something like that. Just watch. I'm probably off on it, but that's my guess. Yeah, we needed a right fielder, but he's not coming to San Francisco. Again, why does Kyle Tucker want to come to the Giants, who haven't had a winning season but once in 9 years? And $30 million of the 240 is deferred. Okay. All right. Why would he want to come to the Giants when he can go to the Dodgers? Giants haven't been in the playoffs. I mean, had a winning season, but once in 9 years. The Dodgers are going for 14 years in a row in the playoffs. But let's see. I'm just reading some comments. Dodgers will have an old team, but they're replacing him with younger guys. Look, Ohtani's only 31. He's got the way he keeps in shape. He's got 5 solid good years left in him. Tucker's only 29. They're pitching. Yamamoto's young. They've got Emmett Sheehan, who's young. They've got pitching. They can just keep going. Don't forget the Dodgers have a huge TV contract through 2038, another 12 years. The Dodgers can just reload. That's all they got to do. They've got money coming in. They've got a pipeline with Japan players that they can keep adding. The Dodgers aren't going anywhere. The only way the Giants can compete with the Dodgers is to go young and do what they're doing with the international players. They're going to have the 4th pick in the draft, start trading assets off like Logan Webb. You're not going to win with Webb, so why keep Webb? What's the purpose of having a Logan Webb on your team? It's kind of like, are the Warriors going to win with Steph Curry? No, but he's an icon. You don't trade a Steph Curry unless he wants out, but I don't think he does. So you go the distance with a Steph Curry. He's an all-timer. But you say Chapman is old at 32 and falling off, but Ohtani has 5 years. Chapman is going to be 33 this year. Chappie is way better shape than Ohtani. Come on now. Pick a lane, bro. Oh, come on, George. Ohtani's in way better shape than Chapman. Give me a break. What are you smoking, George, tonight? Come on. Ohtani's in incredible shape to do what he does, to pitch. and to hit and steal bases like that, don't even come at me with that one, George. I could do a fan poll. You'll lose 90%. Guarantee it. I don't even know how to put a poll on here, guys. Who in the poll believes that Chapman is in better shape than Shohei Ohtani? Tell me anybody besides George in this chat who thinks Chapman is in better shape than Ohtani. Come on, George. I love you, and you got great comments 99% of the time. But this one, we all make stupid comments, and this one is one of them. I make stupid comments too, George. You got to own this one. You got to own that one, George. That's hilarious. You're being a homer, George. We're the no homer network here at NorCal Sports Network. No spin, no homer network. Don't come at me with that one. Yeah, Chapman can't even dive back into first base without spraining his wrist. Yeah, Chapman is a mid player at best. He absolutely is. Don't fall into the war trap, guys. Don't fall into that war trap because they don't count hitting situations for war, like runners in scoring position where Chapman hits less than 200. War is defense. He gets a lot of his war from his defense. His base running's usually pretty good. He walks enough, but he's a 241 lifetime hitter. 241. He's had 80 RBIs, George, one time in his 9 seasons. One time. And he's batted primarily in the middle of the order for most of his career. And he's only driven in 80. He drove in 91 runs in 2019, the juice ball era. He's never sniffed 80 RBIs since then. He's only made one All-Star team in 9 years. Matt Chapman and Susan Slusser have overrate him by a long shot. Okay. I like Matt Chapman. He's a good ball player. You can't, he's not in better shape. He plays great defense, but Ohtani, he almost stole 60 bases a year ago in the 24 season. He was like 55 homers, 59 stolen bases. So you said Chapman was in better shape. I don't think he's in better shape. I think Ohtani, if he wanted to, could play the defense. He could be a really good player in defense, but they elect not to because he's too vital. He pitches. You're not going to have him wear his body out by running around in the outfield and then pitch on his off day when he's not in the field. He preserves his body so much more by being a DH. Let's see. What else do we got here, guys? What top free agents have the Giants ever signed after winning the World Series that year? They've never signed a real top free agent. Pitching wise, they got, that was before the 2010 season. Barry Zito was supposed to be the best pitcher on the market, and that didn't go well, unfortunately. I'm thinking of other pitchers. Blake Snell was a great signing, but it wasn't after a World Series for sure. George, you keep coming at me. The whole chat said, just own it, George. No one's agreeing with you on this one. I'm saying the Dodgers are using him wisely. They can't make Matt Chapman a DH. They got to make him third base. That's the only thing Matt Chapman is really great at is his defense. He's not a great hitter. He's not a great hitter at all. Yeah. Let me see something here. I just want to look something up here on something here if I could find it. Okay. I think I got it. Where are we going here? Open up. All right. Well, it's not working here. So let me get back to open. I got too many things open here. All right. Yep. Chap is a lifetime 240 hitter. Exactly, Mark. Exactly. Let's see. Why are we? Are we not getting anywhere here? Sometimes the computer doesn't want to work with me. All right. So you're not going to work with me. Fine. All right. Hold on here. Let's try it again. Let's see if we can get this thing to pull up here so we can ask the chat. Maybe it's not working. The link to, it's not working. All right. Well, there's nothing I can do about it when technology doesn't work. Yep. Stop giving no trade clauses. Dom says it'd be solid move, but it'll be tough. And Buster sees him as a cornerstone player with intangibles. He does have some intangibles, but he's not a difference maker. Chapman is a really, really great complementary piece on a great team. Like if the Dodgers had him, he would bat like 7th in their lineup. He would be one of their better players. He would be great at third base. He'd make them win even more games. But on the Giants, he's expected to be like their savior. And he's not the cornerstone. He's not the alpha dog. He's just not. So you've got to look at, Chapman is a complementary piece. The Giants signed Matt Chapman as their cornerstone. And he's just not that type of player. He's solid. As I said, he fits. He makes a really great team even better. He makes the Giants a crappy team, an average team. Does that make sense? He improves the Giants slightly, but they don't have the horses. All right. It's not working tonight, and I can't seem to. Oh, there we go. It finally worked. Okay. Let's take a look and see which player or who's looks like the better player in shape. Look at these numbers, guys. WAR, games. Guy on the left has more games, more plate appearances. He's got over 400 more plate appearances, and he's got 49 less hits, less home runs, less RBIs, less stolen bases. Look at the batting average, 282 to 240, on base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS plus, 1 All-Star, 5 Gold Gloves, 1 All-Star. There you go, guys. There's your Matt Chapman and Shohei Ohtani. And as somebody said in the chat, I think it might have been Senior, Matt Chapman cannot even sniff Shohei's jock. Yeah, they're not even close. Anybody who put them on the same, Ohtani's going to age fine. He's going to be fine. His body, look at the body type that Ohtani has. He's long and lean, fast. He's going to stay in, he's not going to get heavy. And his regimen and his discipline, He's not going to get anywhere. He's going to be in great shape, Shohei Ohtani. I'll bet you Shohei could still hit 35 to 40 home runs as a 40-year-old. Maybe he gives up pitching maybe Shohei gives up pitching in 3 or 4 years. I'll tell you this, one more Tommy John and he's done. Oh, work up a trade to the Yankees. Yeah, I did have a trade. I had Matt Chapman trading him to the Dodgers because they could take on his salary. And Max Muncy, let me look at Max Muncy. I think he's a free agent, isn't he, after this year? Let me pull up Cott's salary again. Cott's salary. Hold on here. Okay. Let's take a look at the Dodgers' projected payroll. Oh, 405. Do they have Kyle Tucker? Yep, they've already got Kyle Tucker on Cots. Yep, $60 million. Okay, Max Muncy makes $10 million, signed for 1 year. You know, they probably prefer Muncy at this point. But let's see if we could do something with the trade machine. Don't the Yankees have Ryan McMahon now at third base, though? I think they do. I don't think the Yankees would be that interested. Maybe the Mets. I had a monster deal to the Mets the other day that I was playing around with. Let's do this. I don't think the Mets would do it because David Stearns is building around young pitching, but they've got 3 really good pitchers in Tong and Sproat and their number 1 pitching prospect, McLean. But that would here. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Let me see if I can put this trade together. See if you guys would do this. All right. I'm going to work on this trade. So sorry if it takes me a little bit. Well, you know what? I'll just pull up the screen rather than me keeping you in the dark. Check this out. All right. Logan Webb, 53 to the Met. You got to use Webb in this. And see, the problem is with the Giants, they got to go to the last page to find Chapman. He's a -15, and Devers. The Mets lost out. The Mets have money, but they lost out on some of their guys. But if you could do this to the Mets, you're giving up a lot of your top guys, but they're expensive and they don't have great value. Then you have to go back to page 1 and you'd have to give up let's see. 1, 2. See, the Mets don't have the infield. And if you could trade for the values don't work, but if you gave them maybe if you paid the Mets some money, this is what I would do if I was running the Giants. I would consider going after these guys. Let's see. And I need where'd he go? Mark. Oh, there he is. 26. I'm getting younger and I'm building for my future. McLean is 24. Tong is 23. Sproat is 25. I got control of them and I'm giving up, and I got to give up somebody else of value for the Giants because I'm going to have to give up, let's say, probably going to have to give up like get a young pitcher back. Still, the values don't work. You know, you look at the trade, but that's the kind of thing that I would look at doing. I would go young. The Mets are ready to win, and you give them a Logan Webb, and you give them a Robbie Ray. They got a really strong rotation now, and you give them Chapman and Devers, could play their corners, and then you get back Mark Vientos, who could play first base along with Bryce Eldridge, and you can move Casey over to third base, and this would be the start of a really nice rebuild with pitching. You would have all these guys under control, and you would get the Mets. You know, there's 3 of their top 4 prospects in McLean, Tong, and Sproat, and then you get Vientos, who's a power hitter who could play third and first, and you move off of this money. You get rid of that money, and now you're free to go get a Scooble because you don't have any money on your books. You got rid of, and even if you had to pay the Mets up, you know, let's say you paid them $40 million a year for $50 million a year for 3 years or something, you could do that. Yeah, Domps has got to rebuild with young talent and get the money out the door. That's what the Cardinals are doing. They're shipping out of the money. The Cardinals are freeing themselves up so that they can build with young guys. And then when they need to add, they'll have the money to get guys they want who are not washed up like Arenado and Goldschmidt. Those guys, they had them and they kept them too long. You know, it helped them get to the playoffs when they had them, but you can't keep guys. And if you don't think if Goldschmidt wore out or Arenado, you don't think Chapman and Adames and those guys are going to fare the same way? Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But he's got so much money that it's not even funny. He's worth $22 billion, Cliff. Fisher, or not Fisher. What's his name? What's the owner's name of the Mets? Help me out, somebody. Cohen? Steve Cohen. Yeah, Steve Cohen. The tax was $317 million. Yeah. I think yeah, now the guy's Cohen. Yeah, you guys are coming across now. Thank you. It came to me and I was just it's funny because when you put a chat in, I noticed that a chat goes in when I am on other shows like Polymac Particles. Polly and Tony, that's a good show over there, guys. Go check that show out every day at noon except Wednesdays. They're on at 8 p.m. Polymac Particles, that was Polymac that was with Murph, the Murph and Mac team with KMBR for 18, 20 years or whatever they were together. Polymac's got his own show called Polymac Particles. Go on over there and subscribe. Good people. I'll be doing some work with them over there starting next week, and they will be on. I'll have Polly on over here on NorCal. But George says, why are we trading our prime players? George, do I need to let me spell it out for you, George? Why are we trading our prime players? Well, how about this, George? How about another one? How about How about that one, George? Right there. One winning season in 9 years. 81 and 81. And one winning season in 9 years. That's why you move off of guys. You can't what are the I don't know what it takes for everyone. I try to bring common sense to the chat, and I get a lot of pushback from people. But what is the Giants doing for you? They don't have a winning team. Why do you want to keep running it back? What is the definition of insanity? Repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Okay. We got a Dodger song, huh? Let me go check that out. Let me check the Dodgers song out here and see if I can pull this up here. This is one of those Suno AI songs, maybe. Why is this not working here? Okay, hold on here. Let me. Sometimes the computer wants to act up on me. Gmail. Come on. Let's see if we can get this pulled up here. Oh, there we go. All right, now I gotta. Let's see, forward. All right. So we have an actual new song that I haven't heard yet. Is it good, Senior? Let's see. Senior created a Dodger song here. So let's see if we can pull this up. Creating Suno AI. What do we got here? All right, let me pull this up here, guys. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. See what we got here. Big Market Blues. Big Market Blues. No, I don't want to do that. I want to just, let's see.
Out on the West Coast, money grows on palms.
Mark Graves
Blue
is out.
hat shining like they bought the whole farm.
Stay with us, Mark.
Every big bat, every arm they chase. Just another rich team in a small town game. Heard they called up Tucker, just wrote him a check. Stacking up stars like cards in a deck. While up in San Francisco, fog rolls in. We're staring at the scoreboard, knowing we can't win. Big Market Blues, light up the dream. Dodger blue dollars tearing seams in the seams. We're up here freezing in this cavern by the bay, while they just push the pavements to some far-off day. Big Market Blues, yeah, what can we do when the game that we love don't feel the same truth? Watching that empire printing out rays. Big Market Blues in a small town swing. Ohtani slipped through like a ghost at night. Whispers in the dark, but they flipped on the light. League suit smiling, saying nothing to see. Funny how the rules bend for LA royalty. Down in the dugout, we're zipped in our coats. Cold seats empty, ain't winning those votes. Power bats laughing at the wind off the cove. They want bright lights, not this gray, stubborn love. Big market blues light up the dream. Dodger blue dollars tearing seams in the seams. We're up here freezing in this cavern by the bay, while they just push the pavements to some far-off day. Yeah, they push off the paydays way down the line, buying tomorrow while they're stealing tonight. We're scrapping with prospects and hometown pride, but it's hard raising hope when the deck's stacked that high. Still I'll bleed orange, even if we fall behind. Big market blues light up the dream. Dodger blue dollars tearing seams in the seams. We're up here freezing in this cavern by the bay, while they just push the payments to some far-off day. Big market blues. Big market blues. Big market blues.
All right, there we go. Big market blues. There we go. Well, yeah, Matthew, how does this is, hey, look, the NFL salary cap style is coming to Major League Baseball, is what I believe is going to if you're ever going to have hope in 30 cities across North America, the US and Canada, you're going to have to put in a type of cap that is going to make it equal footing, so that, stars are spread around, and that any team has a shot to win at some point. You can't look, you see all the hats behind me there, guys, right? There they are. Let me put them a little bit. Hold on, it's a little bit. All right. Oh, the Diamondbacks keeps falling off the sticker there. Hold on, all the hats. What's going on there? Okay. Diamondbacks fell off, but there's only a handful of teams that have a shot. Maybe 6 to 7 teams have a shot at winning the World Series. I would say, obviously, the Dodgers are the favorites. You always you're going to have to count the Blue Jays. That's 2. Seattle, 3. The Yankees, 4. The Braves, 5. Maybe the Cubs have a shot, but we'll see. And, maybe the Mets, 6. Phillies, 7. There's only about 7 teams that are going to have a shot. And there's a good 15 teams that don't even have a prayer. So it's like, this is going to change baseball. Small market owners are, I think, what's the vote, guys, you need? Is it like 23 out of 30 owners have to vote to ratify something? I mean, I think a floor, like George is saying, somewhere around 150 with a 250 million cap, something like that, or 275. I mean, the CBT this year is 244 million. Yeah, something's going to have to happen. Otherwise, baseball's just, I mean, even Dave Roberts says he was for a salary cap as long as there's a floor put in. And I really think that's where Major League Baseball is going to go. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I mean, the Dodgers just got better. A lot better, right? What was I mean, the Dodgers, the thing that makes it crazy is they can just coast, right? They can coast to the playoffs. They don't have to have all their pitchers go out and throw 180 plus innings. They can have their pitchers throw 125 innings and then save their bullets for the playoffs, right? Why do you think Yamamoto was so strong in the playoffs? He had a lot left in the tank. You think Logan Webb gets to the playoffs with 200 plus innings pitched 3 straight years? You think he's going to have a lot left to go through and win 3 series in the playoffs and then get to the World Series for 4? Look, Giants don't have a shot. They don't have a prayer at the division, okay? No shot whatsoever. So they'd have to go the hard route. And they don't have the horses to do it. They don't have the pitching to do it. I think Buster realizes this, and I think he sees what's coming with the 27 possible lockout. And I think he's just saying, look, there's no sense continuing to throw more money. I think they thought they really had a shot last year when they went and got Devers. They were tied with the Dodgers the day the trade was made. Sunday Night Baseball, Father's Day, June 15th. And they thought things were going good. You remember Casey Schmidt hit the grand slam Friday night off of Yamamoto. Giants were tied with the Dodgers. They lost on Saturday to fall back 1 game back. If they won Sunday, they were tied with them. They lost. They went 2 back. And then Devers played Tuesday night in San Francisco in the clown outfits, and the rest was history. The Giants went on to lose 50 of their next 90. They went 40-50. So let's see. George says they may make it at 284 since that is the 3rd tax line. They will not want player benefits counted toward the cap like it does now. That would be fine. I think a 2.8. Look, I did a series on this, or a video, and I suggested, I think I landed at 300 million for a cap, a hard cap. And I think I set the floor at like 150, 175. That might be too much of a disparity. Maybe like a 285 and a, 150, 175. I think these smaller market teams, you're going to have revenue sharing still too. So we'll see. But hey, guys, appreciate you watching. I'm going to get out of here. Again, I just got had my hip replaced yesterday, and I'm a little bit tired, and I went a lot longer than I thought I would. I'm feeling pretty good because I'm sitting, and so I can keep my my strength here. But we've gone an hour and 35 minutes. Appreciate you watching, everybody. If we got over almost 300 people in the house watching, if everyone watching right now would do us a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Look, we're going to bring you honest Giants news here, right? If you're looking for Giants talk that's honest, good analysis, real baseball perspective, straight talk without spin, you're in the right place. Okay. As I mentioned to you at the top, I've been following the Giants since 1958, much longer than any media person covering the Giants anywhere in YouTube space or radio. I've got the longest tenure of following the Giants. Been following them since 68. I was 7 years old when I started following baseball. I remember it well. Barry Bonds' daddy, Bobby Bonds, playing in LA. We got only a few games back on TV in the 60s and 70s. We got 18 to 20 games max on Channel 2 with Gary Park, and used to listen to Lon Simmons and Russ Hodges early on in the years. And Bobby Bonds hit a grand slam in his first game as a San Francisco Giant. And number 25, Bobby Bonds, he became my favorite player for many years. And then I think it was 1974, they traded him to the Yankees for Bobby Mercer. I was kind of crushed. Bobby Bonds was almost the first player to ever do 40-40, but he could not get the 40th home run. He was stuck on 39 home runs the last week of the season. He had 43 stolen bases, but Bobby Bonds was a 39-43. He was the first 30-30 guy. Well, Mays was a perennial 30-30, but Bobby Bonds was a great player. He was a great player. Fun to watch. Some of my all-time favorite Giants that I grew up, Gary Matthews, the Sarge, Gary Maddox. The Giants had an outfield of, do you guys remember the top 10? If you read the Sporting Green or the Oakland Tribune, they would put out the top 10 batting average, and they were all guys over 300 back then. Nobody was in the 270s, 280s back then. But the Giants outfield consisted of Terry Whitfield in left field from Blythe, California. I remember that, from Blythe, California. If you don't know where Blythe, California is, it's right on the Arizona-California border as you drive on the 10 freeway. Every time I go through Blythe on my way to California from Arizona, I think of Terry Whitfield. Terry Whitfield, left-handed hitter, got him from the Yankees. It was a 300 hitter. They had Gary Maddox in center field. Whitfield might have played right field. Maddox played center, and I think Gary Matthews, the Sarge, was left field. He later went on to play with the Phillies. But Gary Matthews, that was a great outfield. And then in the 70s, Jack Clark, John Montefiusco on the mound. I remember listening to Lon Simmons on the radio when Ed Halicki, this big, tall right-hander, threw a no-hitter against the Mets at Candlestick. Just some all-time fun players. But they weren't good teams for the most part. The Giants won it all, not all, but they won the National League West in 1971. The third year divisions were put in place. 69 was the first year that baseball went to divisions. They won it in 71, and they would not win another division title until 1987. Yes, 1987. And then in 89, they had the World Series with the earthquake with the A's. And then, they wouldn't really be good again until the 93 season when they won 103 games and lost out on the final game of the season to the Atlanta Braves. Solomon Torres took the mound for the Giants. He was supposed to be their rookie phenom. Dusty threw him out there. He got shellacked. The Dodgers beat the Giants like 10-0, something ridiculous like that. Might even been worse. That was 93. 94, we had Matt Williams hit 43 homers in the first half of the season. There was a strike. Baseball, no World Series that year. 95, the Giants, and 96 were just awful. 95, they were awful. I'm getting ahead of myself. That was 86. 95, 96, yeah, they were awful. 97, Brian Sabian takes over, makes some trades for Jeff Kent, gets rid of Matt Williams, brings in JT Snow, among others. the Giants in 97 through 2004 have winning seasons. If they were playing in today's three-team wildcard system, Brian Sabean and the San Francisco Giants, along with Ned Colletti, would have made the playoffs every year, 8 straight years. That's how good Ned Colletti and Brian Sabean were at running the Giants. They had winning teams every year, 97 through 04. And under a 3 wildcard format as today, they would have been in the playoffs 8 straight years. And then 05 through 08, rebuilding years, 09, 86 and 76, 10 through 16, you know the story. And then 17 through now, one good season, 2021, which was maybe a curse. And George Curry, you're right. We should have traded for Dennis Martinez. We would have probably won the World Series in 1993. That would have been our first. We had Bill Swift as he was our 20-game winner that year. Trying to remember, we also had somebody else that was pitching well. But yes, hey guys, so you want history with the Giants? I got it right here in my head. It's all in my head, okay? But keep it right here, NorCal Sports Network. You won't get any other coverage like it anywhere else. You just get the facts, no spin here. So appreciate you guys watching this show. We will be back. We weren't planning on doing a show tonight. Tomorrow night, Friday night, probably no show. We probably will, I don't know when we'll be back next. We got Niner football on Saturday night. Go Niners. Earners, along with I think Mike Jackson might have been in that trade, a reliever. And we had somebody else. There was one other pitcher, Dave Burba. Yeah, was in that deal. Ned as a Pobo and Buster assistant Pobo for at least 3 years would have been a winning formula. Absolutely. I was calling for that. You needed someone with experience that really, you're not the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're the 5th largest market, and you went with a rookie. Buster can do the job, but he's got to learn too. Nobody just jumps right into it, and just because you're a great player, it takes a while to become a great executive. Thanks, Pasha. It's a terrific chat group. Love it. Been a Red Sox fan since '66. Sitting in the $1 bleacher seats. Love it. Love it. Beautiful ballpark back there at Fenway. Historic. Canseco, yes, I think he was the first 40-40 guy, Aaron. All right, everybody. So, as you heard already, by the thumbnail and all the news over, Kyle Tucker, a Dodger, 4 years, $240 million, $60 million a year. The Dodgers pretty much, unless the roof caves in, have pretty much assured themselves a 3rd straight World Series title. So, Giants, don't try to compete. Rebuild, Giants. Keep doing what you're doing. Get these young guys. Trade off the vets. Get some younger assets. And be a team that can contend for many years in the next decade. Till then, I think, guys, we're stuck with 500 baseball. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.